In a match against Caitlin Clark, Chennedy Carter lost it all. And you would think she would have a bit more control after playing in the WNBA for 4 years. But nope, jealousy obviously doesn't give a damn about maturity or experience. She seemed to take offense at Clark's mere presence on the court. Perhaps Chicago Sky has a particular grievance against Caitlin. Perhaps especially in light of the fact that Angel Reese has been sour ever since Clark began setting records. That's not how basketball is played. What's entangled is her Angel, or Angel Reese, she hip checks it to the ground while Angel Reese tries to block her out. That's how basketball works. That is nonsense. Bush Lee is that. You're not woman enough to respond to queries, but you're woman enough to ensure that the woman doesn't have the ball. But you know what completes the picture? Not even a foul was called by the referees. While Carter is going crazy and nothing is happening, rookie Clark receives a technical foul for excessive celebration. The absurd double standard exists. No foul call was made, no referees interjecting to check on anything. Is this blatantly inappropriate? Not at all. Everyone simply went on. Your main attraction, your lifeblood, the reason you matter was just beaten and stabbed and got away with it. Since then, Chennedy Carter's recent antics on the court have unofficially made her the talk of the town, and not in a good way. Instead of being a standard WNBA match full of skill and rivalry, Carter's personal breakdown occurred. She mistakenly believed that she was in the midst of a linebacker drill rather than a basketball game, giving Caitlin Clark such a powerful shoulder check that it looked as like she was going to knock her into next season. And the real deal is this: Clark was completely unprepared for that. Carter is simply taking things too far and becoming really aggressive without any justification. There is no drama or beef. See how Angel shielded her. The ball player is that. The referees are beyond my power. It's clear that they had a big impact on the game today. Okay, even though I constantly aim for the ball, are you guys really going to play that tape 20 times? But hold on, depending on how you look at it, things either get better or worse. Oh, the referees handled it casually, moving away from the ball foul and more like a bump in a packed subway car. Really? Clark is spread out across the court by you, as if she had just been taken by surprise in a boxing ring and all the referees could do was give her a quick tap on the wrist. On social media, the fans were going crazy, criticizing the officials for what seemed to be one of the biggest "are you serious" moments in WNBA history. The referees didn't notice until there was a full-fledged online uproar and upgraded it to a flagrant foul. But the harm had already been done. To be honest, both Clark and the game's credibility were shaken. This is really crazy. The fact that this is the least self-aware thing only indicates that it will happen again. The WNBA really needs to put things on hold. This is the point at which things really start to get under people's skin. Why is it that the referees always seem to treat Caitlin Clark like she's less than human? When it comes to making calls for her, it seems as though they are using dial-up service. She has been thrown about the court before, and each time the officials have responded, it has taken longer than a terrible Wi-Fi connection. As soon as you turn to face the other players, something dubious occurs. Justice is done, reviews are called, and the referees are on it. However, Clark will almost certainly need to show them a PowerPoint presentation in order for them to admit that she has been duped. It was a foul that was called, but will they say it was unnecessary? Carter Kennedy. The entire scenario is preparing the league for a risky strategy. Despite being one of the most potential stars in the industry, Caitlin Clark seems to be under attack with no true defense. The safety of the players is not the only thing at stake if the referees fail to act responsibly and call calls correctly. They're allowing chaos to take over the entire game. Carter's foul on Clark was more than simply a warning to the WNBA. Hopefully they will answer the phone before it's too late. Chennedy Carter decided to make things even more absurd just when you thought they couldn't get much worse. Carter should have the common sense to keep silent after blindsiding Clark with a dirty hit earlier in the season, right? False. Rather, she hurried to social media to vent about her stats and rankings as if that was the true problem at hand. She is genuinely replying to tweets that are complimentary of her about her attack rather than about reading her play. She is moving in a constructive direction. She is behaving positively in relation to the attack. This is really amazing. This doesn't stack up. She was whining about her minutes and attempting to involve Clark in her complaints. Oh, Chennedy, it does add up. All of it comes down to you attempting to divert attention away from the reality that you went too far. The tale of Caitlin Clark's struggles with referees who didn't seem to get the signal about executing their duties extends far beyond a few isolated missed calls. Let us go back in time to September 22nd, 2024, the inaugural WNBA playoff game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. You would think that given the enormous stakes, everyone would be playing ethically, wouldn't you? Nope. Enter D. Joni Carrington, who apparently forgot she was on a basketball court since she chose to literally go straight for Clark's face rather than go for the ball. She gave Clark a pointed poke in the eye, and we're not talking about a minor brush. No, as seen by the black eye that Clark sustained, this was a full-on eye jab. Carrington, are we really playing hoops here, or are we kicking off our UFC careers? Fine. It is absurd to think that Carrington unintentionally jabbed Caitlin Clark in the eye during their opening playoff match. She steps up and purposefully averts her gaze. Bam. It's obvious that it's intentional. Forcefully up and down till the light went out in her eye, turning it black, forcing her off the course and rendering her incapable of seeing, shooting, or passing. This is where things really start to go crazy. The referees, who seem to be thinking about something far more significant, failed to issue a single whistle or call a foul. One of the league's most talented players is visibly hurting, gripping her face as though she was struck by an errant elbow, and the referees say, yeah, that looks fine, play on the fans, we're going crazy. The analysts were essentially gagging out of their mouths. Everyone could see the wrongdoing, but only those who were genuinely responsible for taking action. The referees determined that Clark could simply brush it off, as if being stabbed in the eye wasn't a major concern when trying to win a playoff game. That's not how basketball is played. What the heck is going on with her? Angel Reese getting twisted up. She hip checks it to the ground while Angel Reese tries to block her out. That's how basketball works. That is nonsense. Bush Lee is that. You are now woman enough to verify that the woman does not have the ball, but you are not woman enough to respond to them. And to make things worse, Clark was experiencing more than a little annoyance from this. She was one of the hottest rookies in the league going into that game, and she lit it up the entire season. But she was out of sorts after that hit. Usually excellent for 20 to 30 points. That night, Clark only managed to put up 11. It's not your fault either. Anyone want to try draining threes or passing across the lane with one eye screaming in agony? But in typical Clark fashion, there was no fuss, no tantrums, no theatrical outbursts. She merely continued to play through it, as is her habit. She keeps her head down and deals with the foolishness. But the supporters, yes, they were not amused. There was an explosion of similar questions on social media. Why do the referees go completely blind when Caitlin Clark is fouled? It seems as though there's an unspoken norm that she should be treated more harshly, yet nobody seems to mind. Conspiracy theories started to circulate on the internet, and who could really blame them at this point? Certainly won't be the last time, just as it wasn't the first. All season long, Clark has been dealing with this, and each time the referees simply brush it off as if it weren't a huge concern. No foul call was made. Is it a flagrant that there are no referees interrupting the game? Not at all. Everyone simply went on. Your meal ticket, your biggest star, you have relevance because someone just was stabbed and attacked and did nothing. It's a great shame because Carter has skill. Everyone is aware of that. She's shown flashes of brilliance early in the WNBA and had a bright career at Texas A&M. Her on-court turmoil has, however, been overshadowing her play lately. She's been playing well for the Chicago Sky this season, but rather than working to get better, she spends her time snapping on social media, and that's a dangerous slope in a league where professionalism counts. But Clark is far from finished. Oh no, she's only now warming up. She's going for even more records with games left in the season. The record for the most assists in a single WNBA season is another juicy target. She will surpass the old record if she continues at her current rate. Not to mention, she's no inexperienced stat patter. Leading the league in points scored or assists, Clark is far ahead of WNBA greats like Aja Wilson and Sabrina Ionescu. Yes, those legends, players who have dominated the league for a long time. And now, in her first season, Clark casually outperforms them as if it were no great deal. Joni Carrington stabbed her in the eye with one of her fingernails. Engage in the it's probably side 11. Could this just be looped? I'm not making this up. However, it goes beyond the figures. In addition to points, Clark is setting records for assists, which rookie guard has the most double-doubles verified. Is this player the youngest to ever record a double-double in points and assists? Indeed, here she is, breaking marks that some veterans can't even begin to compare to, and she's doing it consistently. We're talking about consecutive games, flawless nights, and no mistakes. This isn't just a strange rookie campaign. Everyone in the league is aware that it's a complete takeover. Furthermore, Clark is remaining incredibly focused when players like Carter and Joni are out there acting out and taking cheap shots. She refuses to be drawn into the chaos or the drama. She's leaving all the talking to her game. Clark is managing it like she's been doing this for years, which is impressive in a league where players give up easily under duress. Her statistics are astounding, but perhaps more so is the mental tenacity she is displaying. She seems to be alone in her own world, ignoring the commotion, the foolishness, and, well, the cheap shots.